Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content tonight is one you need to watch the full video, send this out, and leave a comment below because this is incredible and you are going to relish this. Vice News, far left socialist rag Vice News, is putting out a piece around Biden's ghost gun legislation. Oh, I'm sorry, not legislation. Ghost gun rules are, quote, crumbling underneath judicial review. This is massive, and I have not seen them this scared in a while, and you're going to want to watch this whole video. As I mentioned, everything is linked in the description box below for your own review. And if you are a new or returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn that notification bell on. We need as many people as we can to get inside the fold to help pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. And thank you so much in advance for your consideration. And the content tonight is brought to you by SDI. Now, I know a lot of you out there like to upgrade and modify your own guns, and if you're looking to turn a hobby into a career, Sonoran Desert Institute can help. Their online programs cover everything from ballistics, woodworking and finishes, shooting sports management, anything you can imagine, plus all the tools and materials are shipped directly to your door. There's never been a better time to dive into something that could be a new career, so what are you waiting for? There's a link in the description box below, and thank you so much to SDI for making this content possible. But my brothers and sisters, I am excited. I relish this. This is delicious. And let me know if you love it as much as I do in the comments field. This is brand new from Vice News. Again, far left Vice News. Biden's Ghost Gun Crackdown is starting to fall apart. I was told it was the greatest common sense measure ever since measures existed. It was perfectly constitutional. What could go wrong? Biden is the visionary. And yet, it's starting to fall apart? That's weird. It's almost like we talked about that on this channel when they first brought it out in April of his first month, or actually his first year of term. Let's keep going. Gun control groups are bracing for a worst case scenario after a court partially lifted some federal restrictions on untraceable firearms. Again, I say it was constitutional. What could be causing this miscarriage of injustice? I don't even know what the right saying is. Let's continue. Less than a year after President Joe Biden unveiled rules cracking down on untraceable firearms known as ghost guns, groups once in the crosshairs are celebrating as the new regulations crumble under legal challenges. Interesting. One of the things, and let me know if you guys have been with us for this entire duration of time, but one of the things that we were talking about on this channel when Biden first introduced the idea of basically changing definitions through the ATF's executive rulemaking process because he couldn't go through Congress, we said this was unconstitutional. How are you going to stand on this? How are you going to adjust this? How are you going to change definitions this broad and still stay within your mandate and constitutional means? Well, turns out even Vice News is getting a little worried because the court cases are not going in their favor and it's, quote, crumbling. Listen to this because this is staggering. You do not hear gun controllers talk like this. On March 2, a federal judge in Dallas granted a preliminary injunction to Defense Distributed, a Texas-based company that joined a lawsuit challenging restrictions on unfinished gun parts known as frames and receivers, which combine the other products to enable home assembly of gun owners, gun with no serial number, that's the ghost gun piece, or paper trail for authorities to track the chain of ownership. While the final outcome is pending, the injunction will allow Defense Distributed to resume selling ghost gun components otherwise banned under federal regulations that took effect last August. That's something that we hit. In fact, this is the case Defense Distributed. This is the tactical machining. This is the Vanderstock case. This is something we've covered a lot on this channel, and apparently Vice News is just now seeing the writing on the wall. But this is incredibly crucial. What happened in this TRO situation with the judge was they basically said you can't stop this company from selling things because you've changed your definition so many times, and you can't just do that arbitrarily. That's the key here. The arbitrary redefinition and enforcement, and Tim and I hit it in depth on Second Legacy. That's the problem. Whether you go from ATF pistol brace rulings to ghost gun regulations to bump stock bans, they are utilizing their power by changing definitions so they fit inside of existing law. They are usurping power from Congress. That's what they're doing. But let me show you what's got them all a tizzy. The decision from the court in the Northern District of Texas is currently limited in scope, but other ghost gun part retailers are seeking to join with Defense Distributed, and opponents warn it could soon open the floodgates. David Pacino, Deputy Chief Counsel at the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, which is fighting in court to keep the rules in place, told Vice News his group is bracing for the possibility of disaster in the coming weeks. First of all, I said this on Second Legacy, why is Giffords.org doing the bidding of the ATF and standing up for them in court? I mean, just saying. And the other thing is disaster in coming weeks. Check this out. We've got floodgates, we've got disaster, we've got crumbling. It's not good. Look, and we're not just talking about Biden. Quote, if all the entities are allowed to join, we'll basically be back to where we were before the rules took effect, Pacino said. Quote, this is what the worst case scenario could look like. Translation, the judge finds you unconstitutional. They give a TRO to one company, all the companies jump on that same lawsuit, and now you are irrelevant. Your overreach through the executive branch is getting stymied by one court in Texas, and as it continues up the chain, it's still in a friendly court system. They are worried because it's true. Their writing is on the wall. It is crumbling. Their floodgates are opening. Let's continue because you don't get to see this very often, this level of fright. The ATF and Biden administration had relied on the federal rulemaking process to respond to ghost guns and bump stocks. But continued losses in court could force federal authorities to go back to the drawing board. Let me read that first part again. The ATF and Biden had relied on the federal rulemaking process. They made my case right there, as Tim so aptly said on Second Legacy. And with control of Congress now split between Democrats in the Senate and Republicans in the House, another legislative deal on guns seems unlikely. Translation, it's unlikely to get it through the legislative, which is what we talked about on this channel when Biden was inaugurated. They were going to go executive branch. They went executive branch hard, and what did Vice say? Quote, the ATF and Biden administration had relied on the federal rulemaking process to respond to ghost guns and bump stocks, but continued losses in court could force federal authorities to go back to the drawing board. Translation, they're getting stuffed and they know it. The people of the United States are standing up and the courts are backing us because they know it's unconstitutional, and that is some great stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Check out the video on Second Legacy and I will see you on the next one. Braden, signing out.